for a couple.
Oh, there's Mary. I got her.
Okay. A couple
Awesome.
other people to log in, getting connected to the audio. Let's just give it a second. Is she in? Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm calling this meeting to order. This meeting of the Medina County District Library Board. And can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Here.
Dr. Griffiths?
Here.
Ms. Jenks?
Here.
Ms. Ogden?
Here.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Here.
Ms. Schultz?
Here.
Ms. White?
Here.
Great.
Okay, can I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. That was Gail Ostrowski, I think.
Okay.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yes, sorry, didn't hit mute in time.
That's fine. Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to welcome our board members and our guests and our staff. Tonight we have allocated 9 minutes for 3 guests with public comments, 3 minutes each for the public participation at board meetings policy. To all our presenters, we welcome your respectful comments, and we will start with John Harris.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Harris, 7350 Bonita Road. Oh, it's asking to start video. I can do that. There we go. My name is Jonathan Harris, 7350 Bonita Road. My thanks to the board for allowing me this time today. I would also like to thank them for the action taken at the special meeting on September 24th. While I would still like to discuss the topic of that meeting, I'm much happier to do so in this context. To say that I have some history with the Medina County District Library is perhaps a gentle understatement. As a bit of background, one of my formative moments with the library was stuffing envelopes and licking stamps during a levy campaign in the 1990s. I bring this up because that was the year the library faced an organized opposition to their levy, an opposition that was funded largely by political interests outside Medina County. During that time, the library also received support and guidance from outside the county, and some of that support and guidance came from the American Library Association. As you should well know, the campaign was successful. Medina County District Library was later recognized as Library of the Year. That honor was also awarded at the American Library Association Annual Conference. My comments are not for support one way or the other. The board has made that decision. My comments are caution about the way in which that decision was reached. MCDL has not always been neutral, and while it is light years ahead, it is important to keep the library moving forward. The library was moving forward when it won Library of the Year. To stop moving forward and get stuck in neutral, no matter how far ahead you may be, is to recognize that your best days are behind you. I don't believe that's the case here, and I don't think you do either. I applaud the board for reaching out to their librarians to compile information on the subject matter when you discussed it in September. What I found troubling then was how quickly that information was regarded as the other side of the argument. You have at your fingertips one of the finest collections of library professionals out there. To ask for their help and then dismiss it as the other side of a partisan argument is a disservice to their professionalism and a disservice to the board's ability to make informed decisions. I also wish to remind the board that when you speak of representing the community and the use of taxpayer dollars, that there are people in the community who may not think exactly like you do. One community, many stories, as I believe the tagline goes. And for my sake, I would rather see my property taxes pay for a library that has the courage of their conviction in moving forward, and one that allows ALA to help give their staff the ability to train, network, and realize their full potential. Again, thank you for your time.
And now we have Aileen Oley. Aileen? Does anybody know how we can retrieve Aileen?
Okay. All right. Sorry. So I'm Alina Oley. I am a customer service clerk at Buckeye Library. I am also the executive council representative for SEIU 1199 for the library system. And thank you for letting me read the petition from everybody here at Medina County District Library. We, the undersigned, are saddened and disappointed by your decision at the September 21st, 2020 MCDL board meeting to reduce the hours of the Medina County District Library support staff by 20%. There are many unfortunate aspects of your decision that we are certain you will recognize upon review. Most glaring is the fallacy that reduced budgets have resulted in reduced workload. On the contrary, tightened budgets require working smarter and in these unusual times, often in new and unique ways. Our collection resources staff are working at full steam to process the mountainous piles of new books, DVDs, Blu-rays, and other materials arriving daily, ramping up even more as we head into the busy holiday publishing season. Community engagement staff has had to learn new ways to promote new types of library programs and services that did not even exist at the beginning of the year, cutting through the clutter of other topics currently vying for our members' attention. Likewise, the work in the human resources and administration departments does not stop in times of tight budgets. These are the staff that make possible the more visible frontline customer service excellence our members expect at MCDL libraries. Staff reduction must result in a slowdown in the new materials funneling into the branches at a time when the library system will be expanding our open hours to encourage our members to return and use our services. Looking beyond the facts that there is plenty of work, that staff is working harder than ever, and that a reduction will cause a slowdown in materials to members, the fact that this reduction was not done due to financial hardship and will cause an unfair cut to staff who may not even qualify for Share Work Ohio benefits seems cruel and short-sighted. The staff of the Medina County District Library is proud to bring the mission, vision, and core beliefs of the libraries to our members. We believe that MCDL is second to none in the library experience we provide each customer. We wish to be able to uphold those values. We hope you reconsider your decision to reduce support staff hours for the good of Medina County District Library, the staff, and the Medina County community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, may I have a motion for the disposition of the September 21 minutes?
So moved.
Maria Griffiths, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Jenks, can I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Jenks,
Yes.
Ms. Ogden,
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski,
Yes.
okay, Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
and Ms. White.
Yes.
Thank
May I now have a motion for the disposition of the September 24 minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have Ms. Ogden was the second. I didn't see who the motion was made by, but did you
We
get
have
that?
Gail.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Jenks,
Yes.
Ms. Ogden,
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski,
Yes.
Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
and Ms. White.
Yes. All right, moving on to the financial report. Can I have a motion to accept the financial report?
So moved.
Dr. Griffiths, can I have a second?
Seconded.
Mr. Carlson? All right, can we have a roll call?
Discussion.
first?
Discussion.
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry. Yeah, discussion. Can
You're
you,
fine.
Ellie, yeah, please give us your report. I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem. Okay, so the first page of the financial report is a statement of cash position with month to date. That's all the funds that the board has. Our September revenue was $1,027,677. Our month to date expenses in September were $567. And our unexpended or cash balance at the end of September for all funds, $15,527,000. We had encumbrances of $2.1 million, leaving an ending unencumbered balance of all funds of $13,387,000. The next couple of pages is the revenue report. It's a couple things I could point out there. Very first line item under general fund cash, real estate taxes. We have received all of our real estate taxes to date, just about. There's a couple straggling amounts that come in as the county auditor collects them, but they're very small. So we did receive more than the county auditor projected for the year, so that's always great news. And our homestead and rollback is up a little bit also over what the county auditor projected. So those are both on there, and we received most of our revenue for our tax levy to date. The second page of the revenue report, just the top item I wanted to point out there, that's the new federal CARES Act grant fund that we set up, that you set up last month, and that is for $150,000 for a grant that we received for the CARES Act to pay for COVID-related expenses. The next 5 pages is the expense report. A couple of things to maybe highlight there are at the top of page 3 of 5 for the expense report. I always give you a approximate percentage of how much we have spent of the budget so far each month, and we spent for the general fund. That's near the top of page 3 of 5, where it says 101 total. We have expended $6.2 million so far out of about $11.6 million. That's about 54% through the month of September. At the bottom of that same page, 3 of 5, you will start to see the new federal grant, the CARES Act Federal Grant Fund. You also approved this at the last board meeting to allocate the $150,000 that we're receiving between several different categories. The first one at the bottom of the page is for the salaries and expenses related to salaries that we've spent to date. And then the top part of page 4 of 5 includes items that we plan to purchase or have already just purchased recently for the grant for things COVID related. Some furniture and equipment, some items for our air handlers to help with zapping the virus, I guess, as it goes through our air handler system. A lot of different computer items that Sue's department is purchasing, and some professional services that we're looking at, as well as some furniture additions that we will need to better separate our staff and our patrons. So that's all coming up. We have to spend that $150,000 by the end of this year. So we do have that going on. And the end of the expense account is on page 5 of 5. You'll see month-to-date expenses were about $722,000. Year-to-date expenses in all funds about $7.1 million. And then the next page is the investment report. A couple things to note there. About 3/4 of the way down, or maybe it's more than 3/4, you will see the Metabank Sioux Falls, South Dakota 15-month CD. That's matured at the very last day of August, so the interest just hit our account the first day of September, $542.69. So that CD is matured. That's why you see the 0 under the principal balance there. Year or month to date interest earned $10,923. Our average weighted interest is about 0.75%, which is, it is what it is. Principal balance of all funds $15,625,000. Year-to-date interest so far this year, $133,266. I looked, and I'm going to start doing this every month. I looked at last year's year-to-date revenue on investments, and we had $208,148. So that is about $75,000 less this year by September than it was this time last year, or about a 36% decrease. Just based on, this is all based on the interest rates on the investments that we're allowed to invest in. Next 2 pages is a PLF report. For the first time in a few months, the PLF is actually down again from where it was in October of last year. Barely down, but it is down. So I'm thinking we're going to start seeing that trend of PLF starting to slide downwards. Real close, though. We almost took in exactly the same amount as last year this month. Year to date, we're down about $24,000 in the PLF overall, and about $71,000 down since COVID-19 started. I added a new kind of little section at the bottom left there, giving you the projections for 2021. The Ohio Department of Taxation always gives us our projections in August, and they did give us that for 2021. We're looking at an almost $400,000 decrease from 2019, which is the only real year that I could compare anything to, because we just don't know how 2020 is going to end up. So we are down about $400,000 at our first estimate to date from the Ohio Department of Taxation. And that's because they're estimating that the state of Ohio revenues will also be down pretty significantly. So that's about a 10.4% decrease in the PLF. And most libraries are looking probably to budget. We're just starting the budget process for 2021. Most library fiscal officers are looking a little bit more than that. So we'll just have to keep watching and have a feel for that. And the next page is the actual chart for the PLF, so you can see where October falls. The whitish line is the one where October is just about even with October of last year, just slightly down. I also wanted to mention that I did send a staffing survey to multiple libraries. I sent it to Julianne, and I sent it to different listservs and groups that we belong to, directors, library fiscal officers, and library HR managers, and to find out how many of them have staff on layoff or furlough, or how many have eliminated positions and the titles that were eliminated, any other reductions in staff, how many are on Shared Work Ohio, how many still are on Shared Work Ohio, a lot of them implemented at the beginning of the spring, how many are doing a hiring freeze, and so on. So we compiled that pretty quickly today. We had 35 responses from libraries, which is a lot, and they're still coming in as we speak. So we'll keep adding to the spreadsheet, but I did email it to you. It is in order by budget size with the highest budget at the top. And I just, wanted you to be aware of that. I put some comments in my email that of the libraries in our budget size, most of them still have staff on layoff, furlough, or Shared Work Ohio. And a lot of them have eliminated positions, as well as everyone in our budget size is in a hiring freeze. So I just wanted to mention that it's in your email. It'll probably print out on 6 pages or so, but it is out there for you to look at, and I'll keep updating it and maybe send it out to you once a week as we get the data in. And I think that's it for my report.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Do we have any discussion? Okay, there being none, can we have a roll call?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
And Ms. White?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, director's report. Julianne.
Okay, I will start with the overview of statistics, as we always do. Comparing this September to September 2019, circulation was down 17.81%. Included in that total, though, we'll note that e-media circulation was up 19.96%. So e-media is still going strong. Our door count was 21,968, which is 58.36% lower than last September. Computer use for the month overall was down 66.85%, and that's a combination of our in-person computer usage as well as our Wi-Fi. We conducted 48 virtual programs, and they were attended by 1,571 people. The total number of new cards issued was down 58.39%, but demand for e-cards continues really to skyrocket. So we had 391.18% more requests for e-cards than usual. Anytime locker usage continues to be popular, up 310.57%, and Saturdays continue to be the busiest day for pickup lockers. 93 curbside pickups were accomplished, and 112 online reference conversations were conducted with the Chatra software. So new in your board packet this month, on pages 27 and 28, you might have noticed a couple new graphs. So while I'll continue to report the 2019 to 2020 comparisons, really just because of the unique nature of this year, I'm relying more on current trends in usage to set our short-term and long-term operations, our short-term goals and operations. So these new graphs are just a simple representation of a few key indicators that we look at to see how our usage is trending. So for example, while we know our circulation is only a fraction of what it was in 2019, we can also see that circulation increased 8% between July and August of this year. We can also easily note that program attendance between August and September increased by 47% as staff continue to develop our slate of virtual programs. So that's really just a small short-term snapshot, and we'll probably just continue that at least through the end of this year, and maybe further year to date in 2021. So some other highlights, Keep on Truckin', held in September, was another of our signature events that was converted to a virtual experience. It combines story times, tours, countywide take and makes, and crafts. Several branches this month started virtual daycare visits with story times for students, and virtual book clubs are also continuing. So that's a little different than when sometimes we just record a story time and we put it out there and we kind of see how many hits or how many views it gets on social media. Whereas now the staff have decided, instead of visits, we'll know that there might be a classroom or a daycare that has children already in the space, and we can kind of provide that virtual program that way. So it's just kind of continuing to sort of tweak the program process. I would also like to note that we're putting thought into resuming the passport services, as the State Department notified us of a resumption processing. However, with the current trends and community spread of the virus, Assistant Director Muniak is working with our passport agency managers and staff to really determine what's our best path forward. So we're very eager to reinstate this public service, but the resurgence of the community spread is a concern. So we have to think carefully before we start rolling back into some services. Most of the small study rooms have been reopened for the public for use by individuals or household groups. I'd also like to note that Gail Eby from Medina is a finalist for the NEO RLS Shooting Star Award for staff with 10 years experience. And Roxana Rathbun from Lodi is a finalist for the NEO RLS Rising Star. So one's a shooting star and one's a rising star for someone who is an outstanding public library staff with less than 5 years experience. I inadvertently lumped them into the same award category in your board packet. So just note that correction. Congratulations to them both. And NEO RLS will be announcing the awards in November. Let's see. As you know, our One Community, Many Stories project has launched this month in October. There are 10 featured books focusing on the theme of family history that were selected by our author events committee. So if you haven't already checked that out, I urge you to look at the program details on the website and on social media, or if you're on our website, mcdl.info, it's just /many stories, and you can find all of that together. So that's your overview.
Okay, and communications, Julianne?
For communications, this afternoon, I received a correspondence from community member Pam Miller that was for the board regarding ALA membership. It was a little bit of a lengthy letter, so I passed it along to you in your email. I appreciate hearing from Ms. Miller's perspective. She's a long time, as many of you probably already know, she's a longtime library friend and supporter who's in the past served as president of the Friends of the Library. She co-chaired the library's first levy in '92 and chaired our successful campaign in '97. So the full text of your correspondence I can make available with the minutes of this meeting, but the Board of Trustees has received that in their library emails this afternoon. And that's all I had for correspondence today.
Fantastic. Okay, is there any discussion or any questions? All right. Can I have a motion to accept the personnel report?
So moved.
Was that Sharon?
Yes.
That was Sharon.
Thank
Can I
you.
have a second?
Second.
Okay, so on the human resources front, we said farewell to one person this month when our Highland manager, Diane, retired. We miss her already. 2 people opted to reduce their hours to achieve a better work-life balance during the pandemic and to coordinate virtual schooling. And we had 10 staff members who continue to be on leave of absence this month. In an effort to support each other during this stressful time, we've offered staff a couple EAP workshops. One was COVID and stress management, and the other one was called Building Resiliency. So we offered 2 sessions for each topic. And of course, staff also can continue to participate in a variety of continuing education opportunities. This month, as far as milestones, we congratulate Mary Olson, Collection Resources Readers Advisory Librarian, on 24 years with MCDL. Charlene Smiley, our Brunswick Customer Service Supervisor, on 23 years. Also celebrating anniversaries this month is Kathy Osborne in delivery maintenance, serving 20 years with achieving 20 years with MCDL. And we also say congratulations and many thanks to all these folks for their dedication to the library. I will also like to note that Amy Adams, our events coordinator, has been appointed as the assistant chair of the Ohio Library Council's 2021 Convention and Expo Program Committee. So this means that Amy will then move on to being the chair in 2022. And then finally, as you probably remember, Jamie Stilla will be taking the helm as Lodi's manager starting October 12th. So week 2, congratulations, Jamie. And that's your personnel report.
Wonderful. Are there any questions or any comments, discussion? Okay, there being none, can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Okay.
Ms. Schultz?
Sorry, the unmute did not work. Yeah, yes.
Okay, and Ms. White?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we move on to committee reports. Mr. Carlson and Finance Committee.
Kelly and I discussed it, but we did not have a meeting.
Okay. Personnel Committee, Ms. Jenks.
We did not meet.
Policy and Bylaws Committee, Ms. Schultz.
No meeting.
Okay. And Buildings Committee, Ms. Griffiths.
No.
No meeting. Okay. Do we have any unfinished business tonight? Okay, there being none, new business. Policy, board 03, board members. Does anybody want to, where's this coming from today, Julianne?
That's just an administrative update. That policy has always been in place to identify our board members. So the only change was to update your emails, noting that we all have library emails, and that's the official channel of communication.
Okay, do we have to do a vote on this then?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right, so in our packets, we have policy and bylaws, or we have the policy number, board 03 board members. So we don't need a second on this, right? We're bringing it to a vote.
No, please do ask for a second, because I went rogue. It did not come through a committee. It was just an update of the emails. So if we could do a sorry about that.
Yeah, we need a motion and a second, please.
We need a motion and a second for this update to this policy. Can I have Dr. Griffiths? Can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Ostrowski? Okay. Is there any discussion on this?
I do have to say that I think Gail's name is misspelled on the email.
Oh, I think so
There's
too.
a W missing.
Yeah, there is.
That's correct.
Okay.
Apologies, Gail. We'll make that correction.
Thank you.
Okay. So
In the future, is there any chance we could see this before it becomes part of policy in case there are changes?
Certainly. It was my understanding that it was in your board packet.
It was. I guess it wasn't. There was no reference to make sure this looks correct, and it does. But I'm just.
Okay, will do, Mary. Certainly.
Okay, so if there's no other corrections, then we will vote on this with the corrections. Can I have a roll call, Kelly?
Sure. Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths?
Yes.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes.
Ms. Ogden?
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski?
Yes.
Ms. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes. Okay, so the other new business is recruitment and hiring process of fiscal officer. Were we going to have some discussion on this, Julianne? Did you want to?
Yes, we provided that for your review. It isn't anything that the board needs to take action on, but that is the process that we drafted out for you to look at, and we're really just looking for some feedback to see if that met your expectation. It's loosely based on how you've gone through the director search. It incorporates some things that are unique to fiscal officer skills and abilities, like the questionnaire, which is very common with other libraries doing this kind of search. And we just wanted to be sure that the broad outlines as presented in that information were acceptable to you. That's what we have put together, and by we, I mean Kelly, Julie Carragher, and Susie Muniak, and myself have compiled that. So that's the direction that we think would give us some good success in identifying Kelly's successor. We still have pretty good time left in the timeline, in that we're not looking to post until November, make a hire in December. And the reason for that, make an offer in December, the reason for that is feedback from Kelly and your administrative team that, given that it's year end and we, our candidate pool will be folks who would be very involved in year-end kind of activities and closing the books, that we think that kind of timeline gives us a calendar that isn't rushed in identifying the candidate, then giving them time if there's a need for them to give notice to their current employer. So really, we were just looking for feedback. If that overall procedure looks acceptable to the board, that's how we'll proceed. And the actual board actions don't come until a little later in the process when you meet to review the candidate's qualifications. Kelly, have I missed anything important in there, or Julie?
No, I think you got it all.
So really, again, Kyle, we just sort of need a general consensus from the board. If that looks okay to you, then we will proceed. If not, then we'll take it back for further work and bring it to bring it to you after revision.
So, is there any discussion on this?
Did I miss it, or is there someplace in there that would let the candidates know they report to a board? That's such a unique reporting compared to being finance director of a corporation.
Yes, I believe that's outlined in the job description.
It is.
Kelly, why don't you go ahead and answer that?
Yeah, it's in the job description. That's correct.
I just had a question for Julianne or Kelly. And is there any mandatory places we have to advertise in, or is it just really up to where we feel we're going to find candidates?
There's no mandatory places that I'm aware of. Most libraries just post it in the usual Government Finance Officers Association, OLC, NEO, RLS, and I don't know if we're looking at Indeed or not, because we get a lot of applicants that way, but some, it's pretty wide open. You get almost too many. But those organizations are the ones that most libraries post this type of job. And I would also post it. We have a fiscal officers listserv that has about 200 members. We work in the finance field at libraries, so we would post it there also. And that's all I'm aware of. I'm not sure if Julianne has other plans also.
No, that covers it. We're not required. There's no particular place, Maria or Dr. Griffiths, that we're required to post. So we're certainly going to cast a wide net, but frankly, looking towards pools of applicants who may already have familiarity with public entities.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay,
Julianne?
well, thank you.
Julie, just we also wanted to make sure we were on track with the salary range too.
Correct. Along with that information, thanks, Julie. Along with that information, Kelly provided to the board the most recent kind of salary survey information that we had from other area libraries of similar size. So that's how we made that salary range.
Well, thank you for all that information. That's helpful too. Does anybody else have anything? All right, then we will move on to the 2021 tax levy rates. Kelly?
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to do a motion in a second first, or?
Okay, well, let's do that. Can I have a motion for regarding accepting and certifying the 2021 tax levy rate?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right. Kelly?
Sure. So this is it's our acceptance of the levy rates for our levy next year, our real estate tax levy. It is more of a housekeeping issue that is required by law that the board does approve this. A couple things I wanted to point out is that I spoke with the county auditor's office, and although this original estimate for our tax levy is at 6.4 million, we've been taking in a little right around 6 million. I spoke to the county auditor, and that office does not believe that we will receive 6.4 million. They have inflated that for the Nexus pipeline valuation. You may see in the newspaper, it's kind of an ongoing story that Nexus has not paid real estate taxes, and then they sue, and then they go to court, and the courts have so far ruled that they only have to pay half until that whole litigation is settled. So they believe, the county auditor's office believes, that this will go on for several years, and that Nexus probably will not be paying their full taxes that the county auditor is assessing anyways. So my rep at the county auditor's office suggested that we do not estimate that amount of revenue, that we just do a small percent increase over 2020's revenue. So I just wanted to point that out. We'll probably be closer to 6 million when I do budget for this. But again, this is housekeeping that you will need to approve this to accept the tax rates and the tax amount. Otherwise, if they don't receive that, then they will not collect the funds for us for next year. So we need that. Thanks.
Thanks, Kelly. Are there any questions or is there any discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call?
Sure. Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Jenks,
Yes.
Ms. Ogden,
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski,
Yes.
Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
and Ms. White.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. All right, donations. I can just read these, right, Julianne? Did you want to say something about them?
We are just very thankful. The Lodi American Legion's purpose was to help kids who are maybe doing a lot of homework at home this year that normally might be using school equipment. So our Lodi staff just couldn't be more pleased to be able to support the students that way. The other donations donation was a memorial. Of course, we're grateful for that. And to the Waite family for their continuing support of the grief kits. We thank them.
Great. All right. Is there anything else under new business?
I don't think we have did we get a motion and a second for donations? I don't have that.
Okay.
That's okay.
So we have a motion to accept the donation.
So moved.
In a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Sure. Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Jenks,
Yes.
Ms. Ogden,
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski,
Yes.
Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
and Ms. White.
Yes. Okay, moving on to new business. Is there anything else, any other new business? Okay, there being none, we're at trustees' comments. I will start with Ms. Jenks.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody who made those donations. That was really wonderful. Very, very grateful and appreciative for that. Congratulations to everybody. There were so many on the awards and the achievements and the milestones. My goodness, wonderful, wonderful. And 48 virtual programs. That's wonderful to see. Means a lot. I just am, really grateful for all the work that everybody's doing, and I just really want to say thank you.
Great. Mrs. Strowski.
I second what Ms. Jenks said, and I also want to state that we appreciate the comments from the people who asked to speak to the board. I think it's important as a board that we listen to them, and I appreciate that they made the time to come speak to us.
Great. Ms. Schultz.
I'll pass, but thank you.
Okay, Dr. Griffith. Maria? You're muted if you're talking.
I want to likewise thank Mr. Harris and Ms. Oley for taking time to share their views with the board. We do value their input, and also for Pam Miller for writing a very lengthy but well-written view to share with the board. And likewise, congratulations to all the shooting and rising stars, all those who had the service awards, because like Sharon mentioned, there was quite a list, a very impressive list, and to Amy Adams for her work, and hopefully continuing with that.
Thank you. Mr. Carlson.
Thank you, but I'll pass.
Okay, Ms. Ogden.
Just sort of a ditto to what's been said already, but as I like to say each month, thank everybody for the innovation that you're demonstrating and the way you're looking at what you are doing and looking for new ways to do it. I think it's extraordinary, and I think it's going to take the library a long way into sort of the new future. So thank everybody for that.
Great. And I just want to agree with all of my colleagues and thank everyone for what they're doing, and also recognize those we had so many with over 20 years of service. So it shows the commitment to our organization. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda is executive session. I don't have anything. Does anybody want to make a motion to move into executive session? Nope. Okay, then can I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Ms. Ogden, okay.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Ostrowski. All right, can we have a roll call?
Sure, Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Dr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Jenks,
Yes.
Ms. Ogden,
Yes.
Ms. Ostrowski,
Yes.
Ms. Schultz,
Yes.
and Ms. White.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks.
you. I have it 6:48 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the recording has ended.
Thank you, Sue.
Shall I end the meeting? Is that good for everybody?
I think so. Thank you.
Okie doke.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Night,
good evening, everyone.
Bye.